How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. I'm your host Korriban Gaming, and today we will be talking about Wu Zetian, which is the commander that you can win from KVK Season 2. And our KVK Season 2 actually just ended this morning, and right here on the screen right now, I actually have my friend and my alliance mate's account on the screen. Okay, his name is Panda, and he's one of the leaders inside of my kingdom's main alliance as well. So say hi, Panda.
Hello everybody, I'm Panda.
Okay, so today he will be maxing his Wu Zetian, and we will be talking about the skills, the talent builds for Wu Zetian, and also the possible pairings for Wu Zetian. Okay.
Yes, we're gonna max Wu Zetian for today. So, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
I think this Wu Zetian have took us so much effort in this KVK.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Yeah, I think like we fight like a week non-stop until like 4 a.m., 3 a.m.
Wow.
Just for her.
Sleepless nights. Sleepless nights.
I think this morning when we collected Wu Zetian, everybody want to cry already.
Wow, sigh of relief, man. Big sigh of relief.
Yes. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I'm going to summon her.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Alright, so enough chitter chatter. I'm sure you've all been waiting a long time to see this. Let us summon Wu Zetian right now.
Okay, let's go.
And yes, we finally have Wu Zetian summon, and
yes, I'm
right.
so excited. It's like, you know what's the funniest thing? Like
Yeah.
I was telling one of our really good friend in the kingdom, Decos. I was like, to me, like the most beautiful design of female is Wu Zetian. and Decos was like, okay, you have really weird taste.
You know, I was thinking her face actually looks like a meme. You can make a meme out of her face.
Yes, really. Oh my god, I don't know why her face is like that,
yeah.
but you know. Okay, let's press confirm. Okay, we have finally summoned her. Yes.
Okay, so as you guys know, Wu Zetian is actually one of the most difficult and sought after commanders to get inside of the game. And why is this so? It's because there are really only two ways to get her. The first way, which is the way that we have gotten her, is through winning KVK Season 2. And you can only get that if your alliance has either captured the Great Ziggurat, or if you have captured any of your other opposing kingdoms' Ruined Crusader Fortress. The second way of getting her is through Card King, and that is only available for old kingdoms. In fact, she only just came out for Card King like the previous Card King cycle on the old kingdoms, and that is a super long wait. This game has been out for like 500-600 days already, and only now did the old kingdoms start seeing Wu Zetian on their Card King. So for newer kingdoms like my kingdom, which is 1430, it might be quite a while before we actually see Wu Zetian inside of our Card King. Yeah, okay.
Okay, great. Alright, Ken. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the first skill.
Okay.
Alright, so okay, are you guys excited? Here we're gonna go.
Right, let's go.
Okay. Oh. It appeared, it remind me.
A must-buy package. That means
Yes,
you must
yes.
get this done within 1 hour before it disappears.
Can I get it done first?
Sure. Alright, so now we have finally gotten Wu Zetian's first skill all the way up to max level. Okay, so the first skill, she actually does a direct damage factor of 1000 to her targets, and on top of that she also heals for a healing factor of 500 at max level, which is level 5. So this is sort of like a 2-in-1 skill. In fact, I don't think there are any other commanders in the game that have a single skill that combines both direct damage factor and healing inside of one skill. So this is a quite a unique skill to Wu Zetian, I would say. And the healing factor and the damage factor by themselves, they are actually not that large. Only 1000 damage factor. Your Season 2, Season 3 commanders nowadays have 1700, over 2000 damage factor. And healing factor, 500 is actually not a lot, but still the fact that they combine these two skills into one make this a really awesome skill to have for garrisoning.
Yeah, and I feel the good thing about her skills is because she's quite versatile, so she can actually mix quite well with quite a lot of commander. Like for example YSG, because YSG have a increased skill damage 50%, right?
Yes.
So that will boost her 1000 damage factor to 1500.
Yes.
Okay. So that I think that's quite a good combination.
I agree. Actually, how long you saved the books for already?
I saved a lot, bro. Do you know that this is actually just a quarter of what I had?
Yeah, same.
I gave it to Constantine.
Oh.
And also I gave it to some to Alex and some to other commander lah. Then now I left with this. Then all this is for Wu Zetian. Then I'm gonna save for Guan Yu.
Oh. Actually farm buffs until I have like almost 500,000 of the 100 EXP books.
Wow, siao.
Cause I'm pushing honor, right? Wow, I really push like crazy, but then sad wallet cannot keep up.
So let me up her stars. Okay. Okay, let me go to her second skill.
Alright, so now we are going to be upgrading her second skill to max level. Now we have upgraded her second skill to max level, and at level 5, which is the max level, you can see that she actually provides a 10% damage increase to a flat 10% damage increase across the board, and she also does an additional 10% damage increase to rally armies. So I feel that this is actually quite a good skill, though it is on paper, it might actually not seem that good because it's actually only 10% compared to other commanders. They have like up to 40% right now of stat increase, which is just crazy. But it's actually better than it looks, because if you read carefully for first skill, it actually applies to all damage. That means your regular attack damage, your counter attack damage, and your skill damage. So if you really want to think about it, it's more of like a 30% damage increase if you're factoring all 3 different forms of damage. I'm not sure if the numbers actually add up like that, but the fact that it applies to all damage and not just one particular type of damage makes it way better than it actually seems. As for the second part of her skill, the 10% damage increase to rally armies, this is obviously really good because she will be garrisoning, and most of the times you will see people trying to rally a flag or a city. Very rarely will people actually go and solo bang the flag or city. I mean, they will just take huge losses anyway. So 99% of the time, this skill, you are going to have both parts of the skill actually working for you. So that is actually a really neat second skill for a garrison commander to have.
Yes, I definitely agree. Like, this is quite a decent skill, but personally, I do kind of wish that the percentage will be higher. I think across the board, everybody wished that all Wu Zetian skills is just a bit higher. She would have been insane.
Yeah,
like you imagine if her all damage increase actually is 20%. I think 20% is actually very decent.
I think 20% might be even too much. Maybe 15%.
I mean, we'll never know, right? Like Lilith sometimes might buff. If like, for example, Lilith just buff Constantine.
Yeah.
There might be a chance that they might reveal Wu Zetian. I don't know.
Because the thing is, they only buff Constantine to counter Attila Takeda because they are so strong. If you think about it, Wu Zetian is already so strong on the board. You look at her numbers, it's actually not high. Like the first skill is like 1000 damage factor, 500 healing factor. Then the second skill is only like 10% damage increase, you know, that sort of thing. But when you use her, she's so strong. I don't know why. The traits against her, it's always negative traits unless you have very specific combos that are meant to counter her, and there are literally only 3 combos, rally combinations inside of the game right now that can net a positive trait against her. So it's actually way better than it looks.
And later we are going to discuss on the combination that can go against Wu Zetian, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now I need to level up her again. Actually, I shouldn't use the... Actually, I should use this one first, right?
Yeah, I should use the big books first.
Yeah, the big books first.
Okay guys, so now let us upgrade the third skill to the max level. So you can see here at max level, her third skill, you actually gain a 10% increase to both your health and your defense, and on top of that you also have a 10% chance to silence anyone who's attacking you for 2 seconds. So this skill, it's actually pretty good if you think about it, and the reason why it's so good is because of the second part of the skill, in my opinion, is because 2 seconds silence is actually quite a pretty long time for the silence, despite being only a 10% chance. But you have to keep in mind that 10% chance throughout the battle, and for Wu Zetian, she will usually last quite long inside of flags and garrison defense. So the 10% chance, as the battle drags on, it will actually gain more and more value, and you actually get more chances to proc the silence chance, making her actually quite a useful commander. Now the first part of the skill, which is 10% increase to defense and health, it's honestly, it's okay, it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's fantastic either. Again, you're getting a buff to 2 stats, so it's actually a 20% increase if you look at it this way, since you're getting 10% to health and 10% to defense. So it's not just 10%, it's actually a 20% increase to your troop stats, and on top of that, the 2-second silence chance. So yeah, overall I think this skill is actually pretty good in its own right.
Yeah, like once again, I feel that the 10% is too low. Yeah, kind of hope that's higher, because all the new commander that's coming is like all at 40%, 30% increase. Like, I mean, you look at Takeda, you look at Ramsey, like the health and the defense, or even attack, the increment is really high. So, but like having the silent 2-second, I think that is really good, if despite 10%, because Guan Yu have 3 seconds silent, and Guan Yu is a beast on the field. Like you score, I mean, to justify that, like let's look at the Osiris League. Remember we watched Hong Kong Legend versus BBTH. Do you watch that match, Corey? Yeah, that match, like Hong Kong Legend basically had everyone had Guan Yu. Everyone is throwing out Guan Yu. Everyone is silencing people throughout the entire field, and because Guan Yu is AOE, is silent so many targets. Yeah. Yes, and we can see that the impact of it brought Hong Kong Legend the victory. So like for Wu Zetian to defend and having that 2-second silence really important, because it really 2 seconds I think is equals to 2 rounds, right, of attack.
This one I'm not too sure. I think it depends on the speed of your rage gain. But
Okay.
that being said, the 2 seconds only stops your attack. It doesn't stop a skill from firing off completely. It only delays it. So
Okay.
after the 2 seconds is gone, if you're going to activate a skill, your commander will still activate it. But if within that 2 second silence you manage to kill off that much, then obviously the skill wouldn't activate. So the silence is actually quite buff to Wu Zetian's tankiness.
Yeah. Agree.
And now finally we are going to be upgrading her last skill to max and expertising Wu Zetian. Alright, so let's go for it. Right, so now we finally have her last skill up to max level, and at max level her last skill actually reduces your skill damage by up to a maximum of 15% when she is defending inside of a garrison, and on top of that she also has a 50% chance to increase her defense by 20% for 3 seconds whenever she gets attacked. So I feel that her last skill is one of her better skills really, because this just provides an insane amount of tankiness to Wu Zetian. 15% skill damage reduction is actually pretty good. In fact, I would say it's all the way up there for almost all of the commanders across the board. 15% is really quite a good number for skill damage reduction. On top of that, you also have a 50% chance to to increase her own defense by 20%. This is on top of the already 10% increase to health and defense by 10% that you get from one of her earlier skills. So this means that she can get up to a maximum of 30% extra defense and 10% extra health, which just gives her troops an insane amount of tankiness, even though it's only for 3 seconds. But keep this in mind, this is a 50% chance. So every 1 out of 2 turns you are maybe proccing this, so you have this 20% up realistically for about half of the battle. So yeah, all in all, I think it's a really good skill. What do you think, Panda?
Yeah, definitely. I feel this is my favorite skill of all, because I feel like 15% skill damage reduction is always a very good thing, especially when you face like commanders that is always highly highly boosted in skill damage. Like Edward, Guan Yu, or like even YSG, all this commander. They are all like skill damage based commander, so that 15% is very crucial to really get her to be more tanky and stay relevant in the defense game. So the second part of her skill where you mentioned that she has 50% chance, I feel 50% chance is really high. It's like
Yes.
really, really high. To increase defense 20%, that is, and it lasts 3 seconds.
Yes.
That really good, because like which means, because it stated that when she have a skill hit her, she get a 50% increase, which means that after the rally commander first skill that hit you,
Yep.
if the second commander, the second in command will trigger a second skill damage, right? Usually.
Yep.
So that means that damage will be facing the 20% increment of defense.
So if you're facing a high nuking commander, let's say like Genghis Khan for example, which means realistically you can have the shield up for the entire duration of the battle, right?
Really? As in like you have to get the damage first though. So
Yeah, unless
Genghis Khan's
there is an internal cooldown for the skill. Cause I know in the one of the previous updates they actually nerfed Attila such that he has an internal cooldown for one of his skills that was not written on the skill description. So I'm not sure if they actually have an internal cooldown for this 20% defense increase, because for 3 seconds if you're facing someone like Genghis Khan, you can just keep on popping off his nukes, then along with the secondary commander you're basically getting the 50% chance every single turn he pops off the nukes, and 3 seconds is quite a long time. So if it doesn't have an internal cooldown, then chances are you'll have this 20% increase up for like 90% of the battle, which is quite insane.
Oh, okay, now I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, but sadly we can never know the internal mechanics of it.
Yeah.
So we can't calculate that.
Yeah.
But this is definitely one of the better skill among the other skills.
Yes, for sure. This skill is all about tankiness.
Yeah.
So now we have finally reached the most exciting part. We are going to be expertising Wu Zetian. Alright, so let's go for it, Panda.
Okay, let's go. Oh,
Nice.
finally.
Yes.
I'm so excited for this skill.
Yes, definitely. So now we will be taking a look at her expertise skill, Brighter Sky. Alright, so what this skill does is it increases your counter attack damage by 20%, and that is actually pretty huge. So a 20% counter attack damage increase. In fact, I think the only commander that has a higher or similar counter attack damage increase is actually Attila or Takeda. Do you know, Panda?
I can't recall, but like I know Charles Martel have a pretty high.
Yes, Charles Martel.
Charles Martel has really high counter damage. Yeah.
And the second part of her skill, which is every time you get attacked, you have a 10% chance of dealing damage factor 500 to your opponents. Now, this skill might not seem that great on paper, but I assure you, it is actually really good. Even though it's only a 10% chance, you get that 10% chance every single time your opponent is hitting you. So, if there are 10 marchers hitting your Wu Zetian garrison at once, all 10 of them have that 10% chance to trigger this 500 damage factor onto them. So it's actually a really good skill, and I would consider it to be one of her anti-swarm skills, which makes it really good.
Yes, it's definitely an anti-swarm skill, and I feel that her fourth skill and her final skill really push her value up as a as a garrison commander, as in a top-notch garrison commander.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay guys, so we have come to the end of part 1 of this Wu Zetian Commander Guide / discussion episode. Okay, so this is actually quite a long episode, so I decided to split it into 2 parts. If you would like to see part 2, then be sure to subscribe to my channel down below, and I will release part 2 most likely tomorrow. And of course, be sure to subscribe to Panda's channel as well, for he will also be showing the version of this video in Chinese. Okay, there might be a little bit of differences here and there, but 99% of the content will be the same. So if you're Chinese and would like to check out Panda's channel, then do go ahead and show him some love as well. His channel link will be down in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to this channel for more such future content. Stay tuned for part 2. Until the next time, I'm your host, Corban Gaming. Peace out.